Spoiler alert for Saw X. Lionsgate Saw X was finally a good Saw sequel. Well, it's really a prequel, but we really don't talk about it. Again, I'm going to start off all prequel, sequel, and spin-offs with the question of, was this really needed? Could they have kept going after Saw 8? And I think the answer to this case is yes, this movie was needed. It finally gives Tobin Bell the send-off that he deserved. Let's talk about some cons in this movie. Giving 3 minutes for Mateo's self-brain surgery is just not nearly enough. And usually all the Saw movies are 1 hour and 30 minutes, but this one was 2 hours. Not saying that the extra 30 minutes was bad, it just, you could feel it. And then finally, the biggest con here is probably Cecilia Peterson. I get for the story itself, there needs to be a switch in her character. But I was expecting a switch from the altruistic doctor to a self-centered con artist. Not a switch from the altruistic doctor to a ruthless child murderer. It was just so unexpected. I was like, where did that come from? And the character had no indications that she was a psychopath to begin with. It was... Plus, this is the craziest thing of everything. She knew that John Kramer was Jigsaw, but she still decides to scam him? Like, what is that? She went from 0 to psycho in about 20 seconds. Alright, on to the pros. Fan service done well is this movie. With all the Easter eggs and cameos, not too much, not too little, perfect. Amanda coming back, Detective Hoffman coming back, Finn Peterson, the out-of-country treatment that the health insurance company denied in the previous movie. All the traps are really well thought of. The eyes and sticky finger trap was my favorite, personally. I also liked how they foreshadowed Mateo's trap. I picked up on it early on, and I was waiting for them to pay it off. I also love the camera tilts in this movie. The camera work isn't like the other movies. The camera work in other movies was just like trying to create epilepsy. While the camera work in this movie was purposeful. The previous movies had a storyline linking each movie to each other, but this one had to make up a new one entirely, and I think it fit within the timeline. This movie also had more horror elements than the previous years. Previous movies, but I feel like there was a lot more jump scares, more tension, and just overall more scarier. The score in this movie is also amazing. One of the best things in this movie is the quiet and suspenseful parts. And then the score pops in, and it's just amazing. There was one time in this movie where Gabriella was hitting her feet with a hammer, and after each hit, the score got louder and louder. It was great. As for the best thing about this movie, I think it was how the movie made us think about John Kramer's humanity. One major question in this movie was, is John Kramer a good person? And obviously creating killing machines does not classify as a good person. But he has his line, and he doesn't cross it. First part of the movie, when John Kramer was thinking about killing that orderly that was stealing, but then he decided to let him go because he didn't actually steal anything, and that's his line, I guess. This shows he doesn't teach people lessons that don't deserve it. Speaking of his humanity, I like the little insight of his relationship with Amanda. We really didn't get to see enough of it in the previous movies. It's like a twisted daddy-daughter relationship. Finally, I did have a potential sequel idea that I would 100% watch. I would watch... The sequel would be Carlos as that John Kramer of that movie. Basing his traps on the traumatic experiences of his childhood. I just feel like that could be really cool, just to see like he had this traumatic experience as a child, and now he's a psychopath thanks to John Kramer. As for the grade, I'm gonna give it an 82 on the drama horror thriller scale. That's gonna be right behind Oppenheimer at a 96, and before 65 at 40. I mean, that's confusing as it is, but you can see it on the screen. I did mess up with the schedule of reviews, but here's the order of the next couple movies. The next one being released will be the Killers of the Flower Moon review, and then after that, it's going to be Five Nights at Freddy's, and then after that, it's going to be The Marvels. So yeah.